Hello, this is Jcamera here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the LEGO Harry Potter set from 2002, numbered 4728, titled Escape from Privet Drive, released to coincide with the release of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which came out the same year in 2002. I know I said the next review of a LEGO Harry Potter set was going to be Dobby's release, but that set I'm still waiting on. It's taking its sweet time, and this one has already come out, and I've had it for a few weeks now, so why not take a look at it? I think this retailed, I want to say, for $30 in US currency when it came out, but I could be wrong. I'm not too familiar with the currency for these older Harry Potter sets. Here's the box. We got a live-action Daniel Radcliffe in the bottom left corner in full Harry Potter costume. We get the medieval stone Hogwarts architecture of the Harry Potter logo. They didn't even bother putting in Chamber of Secrets in there, maybe because they knew it would cost too much to keep doing that for each movie, so they just gave up after the first movie. Who knows? We get ages 7 to 12. We get the minifigures and some of the accessories. I guess kind of a scene you could recreate. Not that it's from the books or movies, but it's there. We get the barcode. We get more snippets of the sets on both sides. And at the back of the box, we get the alternative builds. We get a house here and kind of like a driveway there. The Harry Potter website and the LEGO website here. Another shot of the full build, and a collection of all the Harry Potter sets. I got posters up here showcasing them, so there's no real need to look at this unless you want to pause the video and take a look at it. Moving on, we get these holes to puncture open when you're first opening up the set. Of course, I got this secondhand, so it wasn't necessary, but there you go. So when I got the set, of course I was on eBay, where else? This was really crumpled up. Like, whoever did this, I don't hate you, I'm grateful, but this is really annoying. You really should have thought about this, like flattening it. I'm sure I'll figure something out to flatten this, but in the meantime, it is really frustrating. In fact, when building, I sort of had to grab my drink and, like, this red box here, just so I can hold it down. Like, have the red box here, for example, and, like, a drink or something on this corner, or this corner, or this corner. But anyway, we get the instructions, we get the minifigures, and we get, like, the side build, and then the main build from smallest to biggest. We get the medieval Hogwarts, like, dungeony, whatever it's called, look to it. Very dusty papers, everything, which is really cool. On the back, we get another advertisement for all the Harry Potter sets, as well as the two websites I just mentioned with the box. A LEGO creator advertisement. Although, I'm pretty sure at the time, I don't know if it was 2003 or 2002, but there was a second LEGO creator Harry Potter game based on the Chamber of Secrets. But for some reason, they didn't market it as much. Maybe that's why they didn't do any more, though. I suspect it's because LEGO was struggling. And here we get some alternative builds, the one that we just saw. And there we go. So before I begin, I want to show some spare pieces that came with the set. I came with an extra number 4 tile, which is seen on the build. Again, closer look on the build later, but this sand green cone piece doesn't actually appear in this set. I don't know what it was doing here, but I got it anyway, so I guess that's nice. I got some studs and a cylinder, a clear cylinder. Some of these you'll see in the set. I think, besides this cone, this sand green cone, all of these pieces appear, and I think they might have been spares in this set. Like, if you got it brand new, I'm not entirely sure, though. But I guess it's kind of cool to get it. And now, we shall take a look at the minifigures. First up is the boy who lived himself, Harry Potter. So he has, of course, no back printing and no head printing, as to be expected with these older LEGO Harry Potter minifigures. I really like the color choice of hanging this bright red against this checkered blue pattern. It's somewhat accurate to the movie. We somewhat see it. We don't see it buttoned up, or at least I don't think we do. We see it, like, open, like his other attires, but still cool to see, and it very much stands out. And whenever I think of Chamber of Secrets, red and green are the two colors that come into mind, so that's nice. And it gives him this very warm, cozy feeling with the colors. Then again, these first two movies do give me that feeling with the colors and everything. And from afar, you really do see the yellow pop out and, like, blend in. Like, up close, you don't see it as much on camera, but in person, it's more of a dark yellow, which at first I didn't like, but this is a common practice they did back then to make him stand out from afar, which, comparing to modern figures that do this similar technique, I actually prefer how they did it back then versus now, because now they just have, like, the flesh be real pale, and it looks very different from afar. So I appreciate that they actually did this back then. And of course he comes with the brown wand, light grey legs, not really anything to comment on there, yellow skin. Besides the costume, it's been there, done that. And by the way, this figure is exclusive to the set. Who's not exclusive to this set, however, is Ron Weasley. This figure is exclusive to this set when it comes to the Chamber of Secrets wave, but he appeared in two other sets, both in the Philosopher's Stone wave, with the Hogwarts Express set and the Gryffindor set, like the color set. But he wore a cape in that one, so if you count that as a different variant, but I personally don't. He comes with a light grey wand as usual. This figure's, again, been there, done that. There's no printing on the back. And there's nothing behind the head. The hair is in the retired earth orange colour. I will say, though, the freckles on the figure, I don't know if it's something with the printing or how people have treated these figures secondhand, but the freckles and the printing on Ron's head especially is inconsistent between figures. Like, sometimes some have more freckles than others, and the eyes, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just my versions, but they're a little bit off, as if he's gone partly blind or something. I mean, I can overlook it, like, it is kind of nitpicking, but I do want to point it out. Maybe there's, like, more than one version of the head that we just don't know about, but in case no one knew about it, now you know. The final minifigure of the set, and the most unique, is Uncle Vernon, or Vernon Dursley, who is exclusive to the set. This head of his, I think, appeared as far as 2009 in, like, Lego City or something. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but I think I have seen the head before. I know Lucius Malfoy's head appeared in, like, a 2005 set or something. I could be wrong, like in a pilot or something. He comes with this... What color is this hair? Is this, like... You know, I don't know if it's, like, dark orange or something, but it's not a common color as far as I know. And he has this really big burly mustache and the brown, like, pyjamas he wore, which is an odd choice of a costume to give him for his only minifigure, but it makes sense in context of the scene. But I would have preferred it if he wore, like, a business suit or something, but I'll take it. A new minifigure is a new minifigure. A Vernon Dursley is a Vernon Dursley. He comes with this brown with the, like, bright baby blue or, like, light ice blue color and then like white lines, and they really help to exaggerate that he's fat with like the brown and like the fact that it's pajamas, because a lot of pajama minifigures have that detailing, which they didn't. I guess they kind of did have to do now that I think of it, but it's nicely appreciated and looks cool. Now, one thing minifigure-wise I wish this set had was Petunia and Dudley. I guess because of the price point, they chose not to do it, but I mean, if you have to have just one to make sense of Vernon, he's the most iconic of the characters, and you want to, like, have the gimmick that I'll get to later in this set. And he's probably the one that I think non-Harry Potter fans connected to the most, like he left the biggest impact. So I guess if he had to narrow it down to one, it makes sense. But it is a shame that until 18 years after the set, we didn't get a single Petunia or Dudley until the remake of this set, which ironically has both the Weasley car and the house, and it's based on Chamber of Secrets. That's really funny to me. So on to the builds themselves. Up first, we have the Weasley car, which plays a big role in the movie, so I'm glad we got it in this set. Because this, other than a car and Ron Weasley, you could have easily have made this a Philosopher's Stone set, honestly, or really just most of the films, like Prison of Azkaban, Order of the Phoenix, etc., but this is what specifically dates it to Chamber of Secrets. I really like the choice of colours here. I like that there's chrome on the front, and I'm thankful that the set came with them in perfect condition. I'm really thankful for that. And you get windows on both sides, and you can open up this roof so you can have Harry and Ron sit in. Like, let me just bend them together. Now, I did have to fix these bricks here, which I've ordered replacements that are on their way, but I have to wait for them to dry. Well, I had to. I don't have to anymore. If I can just squeeze him in here. It is a bit of a tight fit, but it is doable. And then you have the door just to lock Harry up in tight. So it is a tight fit, but it is definitely possible. And you get, like, this roof piece here that you just put in like so. And there you go. They do come in relatively securely, which is nice. I mean, not perfectly, because you can see Ron kind of jumping in there. But it makes sense whenever there's an action scene. So you can use this to recreate not just when they escape from Privet Drive, but when they're, like, being chased by the Hogwarts Express on their way to Hogwarts, and when they're in the Forbidden Forest talking to the giant spiders and everything, and this car comes in to rescue them and save the day. In the back, you get this trunk, which includes bags for most likely Harry because of the context of the scene, but you could easily say it's Harry and Ron's luggage because of when they're chased down by the Hogwarts Express, but going by this set, it's exclusively Harry. Which reminds me, we're missing George Weasley and Fred Weasley for this set. But it makes sense with the price point and the size of the car. You can only fit 2 minifigures, so I can let that slide. And you can easily tell the story with only Ron. And you get these bumper lights here. You get the wheels here. This is what it looks like here. And every angle you want. And we get these yellow lights. They look a bit green in the blue, which clearly wasn't intentional. I wish they did something for that, like maybe they put white bricks and then yellow on top of it, but I guess it's nitpicking. This is a very common build that LEGO has replicated over the years, and while they definitely are more refined and smoother, I still have a soft spot for this one, as blocky as it is. And of course, we get this rope piece, which spoilers, I'll spoil it right now, is meant for the feature when you break Harry out of his bedroom. And you can just pull the window out like this. Which is pretty cool. I wish that the window was barred, but again, I'll get to that when I get to Privet Drive. Speaking of which. Next up, we have Privet Drive itself, or number 4 Privet Drive. So, this came out in 2002, and it most certainly does show, but with that in mind, I kinda like it. I mean, if someone said that it looks like crap, fair enough. It would look awful and ugly for today's standards, but for 2002, it sells this enough. It's pretty simplistic, but it's fine. It has this dark orange color to it and these stone bricks, which do kind of look out of place, but I don't know, maybe it's my nostalgia looking at these sets when I was a kid that I have a soft spot for them, but that's how I feel. We get these potted plants for these windows, which you can open, at least from the inside. Well, sort of, because the plant does block them, but you can get one of them out, and you can at least try to somewhat open it, like wind is coming through, or magic is coming through, or something. You get this sort of light here, and then the number 4 to tell you which house in the street it is. If you want to, you could actually buy multiples of these sets and just change the numbers so you can have the whole of the street. I can't remember what it's called, but I know in the books and movies there was like a name for it. I think it was like, maybe it was called Privet Drive, or like Little Wingen or something. I think it's Little Wingen, but correct me if I'm wrong or not in the comments. I wouldn't recommend buying this many of them because of how expensive they are now. Like, it's reasonably cheap compared to, say, the Lego Batman sets, but like getting this set will be about $100 or more. It's one of the more expensive ones from the original wave. It's not expensive, but I don't know if I recommend. But again, I'll get to that at the end. We get this brown door, which you really do have to think about how you open. You open it from this side because there's like a little like handle there. You get this roof and chimney here, and over there you can see Hedwig. But yeah, you get the roof, which looks nice. You get another style roof, which looks pretty good to me, and the chimney. And then we go... Actually, before I do that, this is also on a ball joint, like many of the Hogwarts Castle system sets. We get this here, so you can pose it in any way you want. You can pose it like this, or you could pose it like that. But me, and I imagine most people would want to pose it like this, because it is the best looking pose. So, in here is just vacant space. We get a spider for some reason. And we get, like, baggage. Maybe Vernon is planning to do camping or something. Or maybe those are his mechanic tools. Because in the books and films, he's, like, a drill expert, like a mechanic. And get some buttons there. Maybe it's a phone dial. I don't know. Just space, I guess. I guess it doesn't matter so much what's in the room, so I can live with it. It could have been cool if it was maybe, like, a cake or something, because in Chamber of Secrets, Vernon's having, like, a meeting with his boss, and then Dobby comes in to smash the cake, which is another character that we're missing, Dobby. But he appears in another set, so I don't mind. In fact, that set was kind of made for him, but I'll get to that when I get to Dobby's release. And we get, like, other stuff, like we get a kitchen here with a frying pan, and we get some materials here. So maybe this is somehow the kitchen or meeting area, I don't know, or I don't know what this is. I think the LEGO designers were just running out of ideas, or these rooms are just afterthoughts or something. We get the stairs up here, which you can easily remove, so you can get in here. This, if you don't know, is the cupboard under the stairs. This is like Harry's bedroom in the first movie/book. And later on, it's like the cupboard for like Harry's stuff. Or is it Dudley's? I forget, honestly. And in here, we get like Harry's school robes, which is just represented by a cape. That's cool that it's there. You can also fit in ones if you really want to, although it doesn't make sense why Ron Weasley would have his ones in there. You could maybe try to put in your luggage, but it is a very tight fit. And I like that you kind of got like a pillow here for Harry, which is nice. Like if I can just grab Harry for a minute. Like, again, it's a tight squeeze, but you get the idea. He's, like, sleeping in here. And then you can have this right here. And voila, you can recreate your imagination's intent and limit. And up here we have Hedwig, which connects to Harry's second bedroom, but he gets Chamber of Secrets onwards. And I think this is like Dudley's old bedroom or something. Again, I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've read the books. This is just from memory. But still, it is nice that we get anything like this. And then we get, like, maybe this is the letters from that Dobby stole that were meant to be for Harry's friends, who knows? Or maybe it's just the invitation letters that Harry got in year 1. Because of a function that I'll get to in a minute. We get a glass and some other drinks and stuff. Maybe they're potions that he's practicing, or just food he has. And then we get some books that might just be fun stuff, or homework, or maybe even school books that he needs. And the books are empty, by the way. We get this plain red book and this plain blue book. Both books are just empty. They have nothing in them, which is fine. For this setting, I think it's very much appropriate. And they just slide in like so. Of course, here is where you would have Harry just being alone in his room, waiting for something to happen, and of course that happens. You get the roof, which is just on this joint mechanism here. And we get the roof just right over here. And the gimmick here is the letters. Now, the set gives you 3 letters in total. One of them's just there. Maybe that's just because it doesn't fit. I've tried to see if I can fit more than 2, but it looks like 2 is all you can manage. But it's not a big deal. I can live with it. And you can just put them on like so. You can also rotate them this way if you really want to, which in-universe would make more sense. But if you are trying to move it around, I would be cautious and careful of this. And the chimney here is mostly used to keep this intact, because otherwise it would just be flat. So just try to consider that. And of course, you can put Vernon there for the play feature of him falling out the window, which is what I talked about earlier. Of course, I didn't put him within the studs, but you get the idea. So when you just pull this out, I'll use my hands for now instead of the car. You can just have him, like, falling out like this. And he dies. I mean, doesn't die, but that's something you could do. And that's everything I have to show for you here. So this set, what I like about it is that it works for both the second film and the first film. The first film, because of the focus on the staircase and, like, the cupboard below it, and the letter gimmick. Like, you can have as many letters as you want, any of those pieces you have in your collection, which I do have more, but I'm unable to fit them. But it also works for Chamber of Secrets because of the outfits worn, and like just the minifigure selection, and the fact that the car's here, and the fact that you pull this down. So it can work for any of the films, which I really like. And that might be because they did it so well, they didn't bother doing it for Really, they didn't do it at all until 2020 when they remade this. I mean, they did the car, like, that was remade in 2010, but Privet Drive itself was not touched until 2020 with the more modern LEGO Harry Potter sets. So there you have it. That concludes my review of this set. I will confess, I don't recommend getting it that many times if you're trying to build up an entire Privet Drive street. Like, I would recommend getting this one set for the car and the minifigures and for nostalgia value. There's plenty of play features to pick and point out. But it's not for everyone, and I get why someone wouldn't like this set. But still, I really enjoy it. It looks like a house, and I can look past all of its flaws, because I personally forgive them. And I would even dare say it's not the worst set of the wave. The car and the minifigures and the play features are, for me, enough to make it far from the worst. Not my favourite set of the wave, definitely not, but I still really like it. If you want a complete collection, I would say you should definitely get it. But yeah, that's all I've got to say. The next LEGO Harry Potter review is going to be Dumbledore's Office, which is the set up here, because that set also came out early. It came out like a couple days after Privet Drive. I was hoping for this one to be next, but it's still not here, so that's going to have to wait. This one's up next. This time I will follow through on my promise. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next review.